Peace and blessings to you. My name is Jerry B. I am the EntreMusician, and so are you. Welcome to another exciting episode of the EntreMusician podcast. This is the space where we concentrate on the mindset, the discipline, and the focus of the EntreMusician. Today's episode, absolutely no exception. We are delighted to bring you one of the lessons from our brand new online course, which is entitled MDF Online. Pretty original, huh? Well, we wanted to get to the bare bones and not worry about it being all fancy and everything. You may remember that last year, we were blessed to design a course exclusively for iClassical Academy. We were told that it was among the most watched course out of their curriculum, and that delighted us to no end, obviously. So what we decided to do was to reimagine the course and make it more accessible to all EntreMusicians since it had been tested at academia. So we stripped it all down, and of course, every lesson is based on my book, The Path of the EntreMusician, 9 Keys to Unlock Your Mindset, Discipline, and Focus. And we dug down deep and expanded. And it's 13 lessons that are true, diehard, challenging lessons that all EntreMusicians must learn and know. And we think it definitely grounds you. So today, we're going to present lesson number 11, which is a real spiritual dynamic on the topic of discernment. Discernment follows sharpening your focus. And I won't let the cat out of the bag because we're just going to pop into it. But I'm going to guarantee that you are going to be able to realize that there are some things that are hovering a little bit below the surface of what you've been looking at and what your career has been showing you. But once you pop that hood and see what's actually going on, that's going to make you a much better EntreMusician. So we'll put it on now, and then I'll tell you at the end how you can avail yourself to it. Hey, peace and blessings to you. My name is Jerry B. I am the EntreMusician, and so are you. Welcome to lesson 11, Seeing Beyond What You See. Now, this is our last lesson on this profound topic of focus. Most notably, this is going to involve the important process that we've been trying to set up for you called discernment. Now, I hope you took a healthy nap because we're going to lay into some things that you may already operate in, but may not have known how to properly define them. So my heart is to help you as best I can so that you can get a handle onto these things. Now, I must apologize that we will not be able to get through the whole subject of discernment. I mean, everything that you need to know for mastery is going to be beyond the time that we can allow for it. But I promise to share the main ingredients, the vital essentials, so that you will indeed be very confident in your focus to see things that you may not have noticed before. But as I've said in our previous sessions, I am available to you. I do offer a mastermind course, and it goes far deeper into these ideas that I'm presenting today. So if you're interested, just reach out. We'll connect. No problem. But before we get into today's session, did you go back into lesson 9 and notice anything different about me? Now, if you happen to catch what it was, let me know. And as I said before, I'll send you a copy of my ebook, or if you prefer, the paperback book, along with some of my music, just to reward you on your keen insight. Okay? Now, let's do a quick review of what we've learned so far about sharpening our focus. We have said that focus is a precision. It's not a perfection, but it is a precision. Focus is like the arrow of everything we've learned about mindset and discipline. And once we have these things well in hand, we now know what to focus on, pardon the pun. But we will focus on what we know is right so we can execute exactly what we're supposed to in that moment for that project or performance in our lives or in our careers. Now, we've all discussed the three processes of focus in our previous lessons. They are what? Observation, clarification, application. Each process important, significant, and subsequent. There's a priority to the process. But as you recall, we primarily spoke of each of these processes from the standpoint of being practical and tactile, what you can touch and or negotiate through, right? But there are a few dynamics which we're going to discuss today, which aren't as obviously pragmatic and or physical. I want you to lean in close because we're going to talk about things that you can't touch, things that you can only feel. And I'm not just talking about your emotional person, like happiness or sadness or frustration or angry, anything like that. I'm talking about this inner sensation which is meant to guide you. Not necessarily your conscience. I'm laying a lot on the line here. Your conscience does play a part, but this is a deeper guiding force that is subtly but certainly directing you. If you're sensitive enough to pay attention, and many people call this, I'm trying to find the right word. I said guiding force before, but others call it intuition. Yeah, there's instinct, and I guess those are close enough for now, right? But for our purposes, and we've said this word many times before, we, EntreMusicians, call this discernment. There's also foresight and insight. Those are very good words as well. I suppose there are a lot of other streets we can go down, but I'm not going to try to freak you out. Not completely, at least. Let me just say, in trying to locate the best word, what we're talking about is actually supernatural. It is spiritual. There are things about discernment that I absolutely understand, and I continue to develop and sharpen my discernment personally. But I must admit that there are things that I don't understand either. But the more I participate in the process, the more I practice it, right? The more that I cannot deny the discernment definitely works. Now, let me give you a brief example, which happened to me just before I recorded Lesson 10. And in this example, I'm going to confess that I completely disobeyed my own discernment. Now, I was preparing Lesson 10 and I decided that I needed a magnifying glass to make the point stick on clarity. In fact, I didn't even record it, but I went looking for a magnifying glass. I couldn't find one in my home. I think maybe my youngest daughter may have took it, but anyway, I left home and I went to the store, and I went to two stores in my neighborhood. In fact, neither store had one, so I decided to go further out of my area to purchase this doggone magnifying glass. Now, as I was driving, this particular store right on the corner was kind of highlighted to me. It just stood out. I said, no, that's a very expensive store. I'm going to go over to the ones I know because I'm going to save some money, and I'm only going to use the magnifying glass for the lesson. And again, like I said, I didn't even record Lesson 10 with the magnifying glass anyway, but I passed that store up and I went a few miles up to the others. Turns out nobody sells magnifying glasses in my town anymore. I'm like, what is this, right? So since I had to come right back past that same store that stood out to me before, I decided I'm going to go in, get the magnifying glass. Lo and behold, they had the magnifying glass, right? And it was buy one, get one free. Can you dig it? Now, if I had only obeyed my own discernment at the very beginning, I would have saved myself precious time, energy, and gas money. And I must admit, there are many, many times where I do obey that tiny voice, and I'm blessed as a result. This time, however, I was just being plain stupid. Now let's hone in. Discernment is that inner voice that tells you instinctively what you should be paying attention to. It could be that voice or feeling or sensation. It doesn't always tell you why. It just points you in the direction of the way that you should go, or the place you should be, or the thing you should do. Conversely, should not do. The magnifying glass incident notwithstanding. I've had several moments where there was this strong urge to not do something. You ever been there? I was planning on doing it. I was planning on going somewhere. I was planning to go. Some people call it what? Premonition, right? And I'll take this word and include it in my discernment basket, because there have been a few of those instances which I should have paid attention to, right? Now, when I did, my life was literally saved. I mean that. And in others, disaster. But when I paid attention, my finances remained secure because I didn't sign the paper, right? Discernment is so integral to focus on. So you have to learn how to develop it, to be sensitive to it, and don't be stupid like I can sometimes be. So you must obey discernment every single time. Now, remember I said earlier that you can learn how to read people or how to read a room when you walk into it. That's discernment. You can discern not only what's being said, but what's left unspoken, especially in an important business negotiation or decision. When someone says, oh yeah, this is going to be great for you, this is going to take your career to the top, you begin immediately asking those 15 questions. Immediately. Okay, so what do you mean by this? How will you profit from the work that I'm going to do for you? Exactly what are you expecting of me? And so on. And by all means, obey your discernment, right? Ask yourself, how do I truly feel inside about this person or opportunity? How do I truly feel? What about this time in my life will this matter? And what about my family? Does this situation agree with my personal constitution? Very, very, very important. Now, let me just keep it real right here, because we're talking about a music business which has more than several people who are completely unscrupulous and will take advantage of you if you let them. If your constitution is not strong, if you are not sensitive to your discernment, these people will turn you out. These people will introduce you to drugs and alcohol. These people will convince you to wear clothes that you know you shouldn't wear. They'll convince you to compose and sing songs you know you shouldn't be performing. These people will steal your money for their purposes. You must know without a shadow of a doubt who you really are. We talked about this in mindset. What do you really want? And you must know how to maintain your integrity throughout the entire process. So utilize strong discernment. Be empowered. Don't be afraid to walk away if you don't know deep down inside your knower that this thing is not for you. Okay, now let's lighten up the mood a little bit. Been pretty serious here. But discernment also carries with it the wonderful glory of creation. And most musicians already walk with this level of discernment inside of them, right? Although they may not recognize it. Remember when I said you have to see it before you see it, and that we create twice? Remember when I said that? Well, that, my friend, is indeed the creative muscle of discernment, right? Both of these statements are absolutely true. we do see or hear or feel a rhythm, a melody, a beat, a lyric in our minds, right? Right? Before we even get to our instrument to work it out, right? We create it and we develop it. We could be washing the dishes, man. We could be at the grocery store, right? And we're grooving along with it. It's just got us. And then when we actually do pick up our guitar or our violin and we sit down, at the piano perhaps, and we carve it out. We write down the song, perhaps on sheet music, or we record it in our DAW. Then it becomes tangible, that second creation. Now, again, I'm tempted to go down another street here, but if I did, we'd be here another 213 hours because this subject is so rich and powerful. But I beg of you, spend some careful, diligent time in the area of sharpening your focus. Focus is not just a candle on the cake of mindset and discipline. Focus is its own cake. I hope you understand that. And the ingredients of observation, clarification, and application, trying to talk too fast, all need to be blended and stirred within the sensitivity of discipline so that you can be razor sharp and electric in every situation. Now, let me share with you one more story before we end today, okay? On August 3rd, 1973, Stevie Wonder released an album entitled EntreMusician. Now, if you're 50 years or older, you will remember this great piece of work. This album peaked at number 4 on Billboard Pop and number 1 on the soul charts. EntreMusician won the 1973 Grammy for Album of the Year, and the single Living for the City also won a Grammy. EntreMusician is ranked number 34 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Times, and it was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1999. It is widely considered to be one of Stevie's finest works, not to mention the incredible discography of marvelous hit songs he's composed over decades. Now, why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you this because these songs, which a man saw inside of his own soul and shared his inner visions with the rest of the world, is, as you already know, a blind man. Now, that's the sharpened reality, power, and discernment of focus. This man, Stevie Wonder, was also instrumental in making Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday a national holiday in the United States. He is an ambassador known all over the world, not only for his music, but also for his humanitarian efforts, right? This little blind kid from Detroit, Michigan, who grew up in the 1960s, he could see beyond what he could not see. And he wrote songs which help change the world. Focus, my friend. You focus. That's the key. And we'll see you again next time. God bless. I trust you enjoyed that lesson on discernment, and that by viewing it, you are now aware that you have this guiding force within your inner person that will help you to uncover what's under the surface. And the more you utilize discernment, how much sharper you can be on your purpose, on your why, in your career, in your personal and professional life. Now, remember, this MDF online course is available as a digital download. It has 13 lessons in it, and it will absolutely help you to sharpen your mindset, discipline, and focus. To grab your copy, all you have to do is join our email list. Just hit me up right here. We'll put you on the email list. And when we drop it in a couple of weeks, you'll know that you are among the first. Now, what we're going to do is celebrate the new year coming in, 25, by saying the first 25 to purchase this course. And by the way, we've made it unbelievably available and affordable for you. With respect to that, the first 25 who orders this and downloads it gets 25% off of what it will be selling for later on as we don the new year. So get your copy right now. Finally, I also want to invite you to the EntreMusician Community, a place where you do have coaching, collaboration, and the vibrancy of a tight community that will love you, support you, and challenge you. All you have to do is just hit me up, okay? So thank you very much for enjoying the podcast today. I hope to see you next time. And I say it all the time. My name is Jerry B. I am the EntreMusician, but so are you. We will see you again next time. God bless.